Header is Game 4 in that Eastern Conference semifinal between the Celtics and the Hawks. Now, the Boston Celtics have the best record in basketball and are undefeated in the playoffs. Atlanta has to change that or their season is over today. In the second half of our day, we'll bring you the team with the best record in the West. The world champion Los Angeles Lakers meet the Dallas Mavericks in wild Reunion Arena, where the Mavericks will try and even up their Western Conference semifinal at 2 each. Some of you will see another Western Conference semifinal between Houston and Denver. The Rockets lead that series 2-1. So sit back, relax, enjoy the best in basketball here on CBS. I'm Pat O'Brien. I'll see you at the half.
The Boston Celtics may have written the book on unselfish team basketball. Every member of the starting unit has played a major role in their tremendous success. The Celtics are the only team yet to lose a playoff game, and now they are one step away from a 4-game sweep into the Eastern Conference Final. The Boston Celtics have not missed a beat. In contrast to Celtic team play, the Atlanta Hawks have been riding the wings of sensational Dominique Wilkins. The NBA's leading scorer finally broke loose in Friday's third game, but even Dominique can't do it alone. So the desperate Hawks may look more to Spud Webb, their diminutive spark plug, to try to stay afloat today. One team wants to take care of business and move on. The other merely looks to survive. Here in Atlanta, the Celtics and Hawks have different goals as the NBA playoffs continue. We have a sellout crowd of over 12,000 here at the Omni in Atlanta to see if Atlanta can get a game against the Boston Celtics here in this Eastern Conference semifinal. As you know, no team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit to win. It's a tall order for the Hawks against the great Celtics. Philadelphia leads 2-1 in their series, and that's the story in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and welcome to the NBA on CBS. If the Atlanta Hawks are a team of tomorrow, the Boston Celtics are still the team of right now. Their hallmark has been unselfish team play and great balance. Danny Ainge scored 9 points in the first playoff game against Chicago. Other than that, every Celtics starter has scored in double figures in every playoff game, and that's quite a testimonial. Tommy Heinsohn, of course, is my partner. Bill Walton did not play in Game 3 with a strained knee. The word is he is expected to play today. What has been the difference, though, between these two teams?
The inside play of the Celtics' big people, particularly Kevin McHale. He's the toughest matchup for at the power forward spot in the entire league. The Hawks have not solved that riddle, and Robert Parrish has come along to play nicely on the boards, too. Larry Bird has been playing Larry Bird basketball. They haven't made a dent in his game.
Mike Fratello told us yesterday that he told his team this is going to be their toughest hurdle. They're going to have to summon up the energy and the drive and the desire to come back from a 3-0 deficit and play today. They've been going with Dominique Wilkins as opposed to the balance of the Celtics. Will they continue to go that way?
Dick, if the Celtics have a weakness, it's their team speed. I don't think the Hawks have really capitalized on that consistently by using their fast break style of play. They need to get Dominique Wilkins out in the open court one-on-one. Kevin Willis has a speed advantage over McHale. They need Spud Webb and Doc Rivers to really push that ball up the court.
All right, on Friday, Mike Fratello of the Hawks was named the NBA Coach of the Year, but Larry Bird said after the game, Casey Jones is our Coach of the Year. Coming up, Game 4, Hawks and Celtics. It's the NBA on CBS.
The NBA on CBS. Today's game from the Omni is sponsored by Miller Beer. Miller made the American way since 1855. The new Chrysler Corporation, they don't want to be the biggest, they just want to be the best. And by Mobil One Synthetic Motor Oil. Mobil One protects your engine better than any conventional motor oil.
Starting lineups for the respective teams, beginning with the visiting Boston Celtics. Larry Bird, the Celtics' top scorer, Kevin McHale, second leading scorer, and Robert Parrish, that imposing front line. Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge make up the backcourt for Casey Jones. For the Atlanta Hawks, Dominique Wilkins, and the man that Tommy was talking about, 7-foot Kevin Willis, joins him up front. Wayne Tree Rollins at 31 is the center, and in the backcourt, Doc Rivers and Randy Whitman for Coach of the Year Mike Fratello. The officials this afternoon, Darryl Garretson and Paul Mahalik will work the game, and Tommy Nunez will be the alternate. And here's a review of the series so far. And Atlanta played as well as they could play in the third game on Friday night and lost by 4, and that's the story. Boston leading 3-0. It'll be Paris jumping center against Wayne Rollins. Boston in green, Atlanta in white. We're underway in a sold-out Omni, and already a whistle. We have a violation on the jump, so it's going to be Atlanta possession.
Tempo, very important for the Hawks, Dick. Create as many open court opportunities as possible. The half-court game of the Hawks, not nearly as effective.
They have big men, and they're one of the few teams that can match up with Boston up front. But they're an inexperienced club, and the Celtics are the other way. Ainge is on Rivers. Whitman guarded by Dennis Johnson. Dominique Wilkins over Kevin McHale. Wilkins scored 38 points after a 2-game slump in the opening 2 at Boston.
Boston's got the advantage of having a fast break ball club and a very, very good set offensive team.
That's where the great passing has come to play. Ainge coming off the screen, nothing there. Goes up. Ainge beat Rollins to the ball inside. That's another thing the Celtics have been doing. Paris. And the rebound by Dominique. He carries it all the way. He's tough to double or even single cover. He finds Whitman in the corner. Paris clear, still no score, nearly a minute gone by.
Whitman important as a wing shooter on the fast break. The pull-up jump shots, he starts hitting those, cause a lot of problems for the Celtics.
McHale is posting up Wayne Rollins, doubled with Whitman. No way of stopping McHale, who's the second leading scorer in the series, averaging over 23.5 a game. Quickly back is Doc Rivers, and he can penetrate.
That is the guy that really has to create the pace. They've got the super little guy, Spud Webb, also a pacemaker, but Doc Rivers has to get the job done early.
Celtics, who used to be a puzzling team in the half court when they did not have that accurate outside shooting, but now they have all of the elements. Johnson and Ainge insisting off the bench to shoot. Bird on a semi-pick and roll. Dennis Johnson hits. Here's a play that doesn't work, and the Celtics score anyway. Quickly back, Wilkins going up against 3 Celtics. Parrish playing volleyball. Forecourt to Johnson. Atlanta back on defense. Celtics by 2. Double team on Bird immediately. Ball knocked away. Finds McHale. And McHale draws the foul. He'll do it falling away. He'll do it going in, lunging to the basket. So many ways Kevin McHale will either score or draw the foul as he did.
Very interesting matchup. Mike Fratello has put his best big man defender, Tree Rollins, the guy that's used to swatting shots away against Kevin McHale, a power forward. So that's his best effort, the Hawks, to stop Kevin McHale.
Does that say to that the Hawks feel that McHale is really the big weapon, as you've kind of pointed out?
Well, he's their #1 low post option, Kevin McHale. When they're in trouble and they need, they don't get the fast break baskets, it goes into Kevin McHale, and the rest of the offense starts from there.
Rollins committed a foul. Just under 10 minutes remaining in this opening quarter, and the Celtics lead by 4. Doc Rivers rebounded in Game 3 after a lackluster first 2 at Boston Garden. And already they're going to post up Dominique with McHale. Double teamed again. Ainge helping. He's in trouble. Knocked away into the hands of Willis, touching the ball for the first time. 3 on the shot clock. Whitman fakes, short. They got it off in time, but they didn't get a good shot by any means. And Dennis Johnson, discontinued, loses the ball on a turnover.
It appears Mike Fratello immediately is trying to get Dominique Wilkins off and into the game, cause a problem defensively for the Celtics. They have not used Willis, however, in the low post. That's a good matchup for them.
Right now, nothing's a good matchup the way the Celtics are defending. Rivers penetrating, missing. Good defense again, and now the Celtics with a little tempo here. Bird going for 3. Rebound Wilkins, and Ainge nearly got that, and Ainge commits the foul in the backcourt. Danny Ainge committing the foul, and
you're going to see Dennis Johnson trying to steal the outlet here, and they're sitting back, and all of a sudden they see the ball being rotated. They really had Dominique pinned against the baseline.
Been a half-court game so far. Willis is posting up Larry Bird now. Moves to the weak side. Rivers was open. Whitman guarded by Bird quickly. Wild shot by Willis, and the 24-second clock. The basket's going to count as the basket beat the clock. And so the Atlanta Hawks working very hard to score, and the Celtics, of course, as they usually do, out-rebound their opponents. Wilkins gets credit for the basket. Atlanta foul. Robert Parrish was fouled.
Robert Parrish, their second low post option. He has a size advantage over most power forwards, and that's what he's playing against right now, Kevin Willis.
Willis goes out of the ball game, and Cliff Livingston, who is 6'7", several inches shorter, comes into the ball game.
And in one game, the Celtics went immediately to that matchup, figuring that the much bigger Parrish would be able to take advantage of Livingston, and it worked.
He scored 10 points, Parrish did, in the fourth period to help break open that first game of the series. Willis has the personal foul, went out of the game, and it's 8-4.
The Celtics want to take the ball out of the hands of Dominique Wilkins as much as possible.
Randy Whitman from the corner. They're working on Bill Walton's knee. They iced it after the shoot-around before the game. McHale comes back with a short hook shot. 4 minutes gone by here in the opening period, and the Boston Celtics have had the lead throughout. Kick ball, and the Celtics will inbound. And coming into the ball game is Willis again, replacing Livingston, so he went out for a short time.
But you know what the Celtics do so well, Dick, on defense? They really have a nose for who they want to stop. And with Dominique Wilkins in there, he is going to draw double, triple team coverage and force Dominique to think where the open man is.
Losing the ball out of bounds is Rivers, and the Celtics take over. Mike Fratello, who led the Hawks to a 50-victory season, matching their best ever in Atlanta. 7:35 remaining in the first period. Bird goes out to McHale. Good rotation by the Hawks here. They let Johnson go in the corner, and Rollins the rebound for Atlanta. 10-6 in favor of Boston. Opening period. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn at the Omni. Here is Dominique going in. Doesn't fall, and McHale with the outlet pass. Hawks back on defense. Johnson, the trailer, runs into Whitman, loses the ball out of bounds.
You know, Boston, who is a much slower team, we're going to see some good defense on Bird, trying to take the ball out of his hands. Watch the Celtics move it around. Dennis Johnson wide open. He misses the shot, but good ball movement by the Celtics and excellent defense by the Hawks.
Wilkins. Willis. And the second-year player from Michigan State who can run and bang the boards comes in. He was the 11th pick in his rookie year, and it's 10-8 Celtics.
You know, Bird guarding Willis is an advantage. Bird plays team defense, will turn Willis loose on the offensive glass.
McHale doesn't go, and now the Hawks can tie the score here. Whitman, based on Johnson. Wilkins. Foul. Celtic elbow, and Wilkins will go to the line to shoot two and try to tie the ball game up.
That was perfect Atlanta Hawk basketball. Even though they didn't score, they created good opportunity for himself.
Timeout, 6:27 remaining in the opening period. The Spectrum, the Philadelphia 76ers took a 2-1 lead in their series with Milwaukee, winning 107-103. Charles Barkley was the leader in scoring and rebounding, but there was another hero for Philadelphia. First of all, Sidney Moncrief, with the injured foot, did not play in the game, which hurt Milwaukee's cause. Dr. J, Julius Erving, took command of the game. This bank shot off the glass, cut Milwaukee's lead to 1, and then after saving a near-errant pass, made this tremendous toss into Bobby Jones, who scored and was fouled. Philadelphia had a three-point lead, 101-99, after the three-point situation. And finally, Philadelphia hung on and won the game and has a 2-1 lead in their best-of-7 series.
This man at the foul line, Dick, is the target of the Celtics defense. They are going to run at him, get him thinking, feeling that his inexperience and making him think will take away from his physical ability to leap over people.
Well, he hasn't had a good series. He shot 37% in the first two games before getting on track to 38 points in game number 3. So the Celtics have had his number for the most part. 6:15 remaining in the opening period. McHale. Ainge. Whitman stays with him. Now a good double on McHale. The free man is Larry Bird. Larry Bird cold in the early going right now. Missed his first two shots. Throwing the ball away is Dominique Wilkins. Keep in mind that these Atlanta Hawks, though they won 50 games, have an average of 3 years experience for each man. And the Boston Celtics have been here and farther many times before. And a whistle, illegal defense called against the Atlanta Hawks. That's a warning. The second time will result in a technical foul on Mike Fratello's crew.
Well, the Celtics really try to isolate Kevin McHale a lot down in the low post. They bring the weak side up and they force you to play an illegal defense.
Ames, ball knocked away by Randy Whitman, who's gained more and more confidence. McHale, good move inside and is fouled. You wonder, what can you do against Kevin McHale? He is very tough, almost impossible to match up, and there is Wayne Rollins with his second foul.
But there's good position by Kevin McHale. Tree Rollins is going to lay a few limbs on him, but the passing of Kevin McHale on the low post helps create a lot of easy baskets for Kevin.
John Koncak, the rookie 7-footer from SMU, has come into the ballgame replacing Tree Rollins. There's Koncak, who surprised the critics and came on strong late in the year. A good offensive threat is Koncak. 7-footer, 5th in the draft by the Hawks.
And starting to get the feel of playing NBA low post defense.
Kevin McHale has 8 of the 12 Boston points. Celtics by 2. Less than 5.5 to play in the opening stanza. Whitman driving in. McHale, another rebound. Dennis Johnson slowed up by Wilkins. You're going to enjoy this Celtic passing team as the Hawks commit a foul. They'll pass the ball out and go in and go back out again, whatever it takes. That foul is on Doc Rivers, number 1 on Rivers.
You know, the Celtics, they're a slower team, but they get their fast break going better right now than the Hawks are.
Johnson looking for Parrish, and it's knocked away by Rivers. Still Boston ball.
The Celtics off the rebound really look for the outlet pass as far up the court as possible, something that the Hawks are not doing right now.
It's going to be a 2-shot foul charged to Doc Rivers. The ball was not inbounded and a foul was committed. That's an automatic 2-shot foul. It is also the 15th foul against Atlanta. But here's Spud Webb, and listen to the reaction for him. Well, when he does something, you'll get a reaction from Spud Webb. He has electrified the crowd. I keep thinking about Dallas in the All-Star game, Tommy, and what he did there.
He is the Federal Express, Dick. He's bringing the mail, I'll tell you. He's going to get it there probably from one end of the court to the other faster than anybody can in the entire league. And he is one of the real weapons that Casey Jones is afraid of.
He's 5'5", maybe 5'7", he's listed, but he may be closer to 5'5", and is a tremendous spark and a better player than people gave him credit for. He can penetrate, and he also has a pretty good outside jumper now. Winding down to 5 minutes to go in the opening period. Celtics lead, Dominique Wilkins, one of his patented moves, and it's 14-12.
That time the Celtics are so intent on stopping Spud Webb's penetration, they forgot where Dominique was.
Coming off the screen is Bird. Way off balance. Contact clear. And a chance, once again, for the Hawks to tie the game. Here's Dominique. And this time he is tripped and down.
Well, you can see everybody has attention on Spud. They forget Dominique until he gets the ball in his hands in a good spot to take it strong to the basket. So when you have 2 threats like that on the court, the Celtics haven't quite made up their mind which one they're going to stop first.
Dennis Johnson with his first foul. 3 team fouls on the Celtics. Atlanta in the penalty. Webb into the corner. Whitman hit. Spud Webb drew the double momentarily, and that freed Whitman. And we have a tie score, our 3rd tie of the game.
He's a creator. That little move to the middle makes everybody adjust, and he'll find the open man beautifully.
Whitman on Dennis Johnson. Out of bounds. And it's going to be Atlanta's possession. Paul Mihalik made the call, and so Danny Ainge, who let the ball go out of bounds thinking it was last touched by the Hawks. So the Hawks have it and can take their lead as we look at Casey Jones, who's been doing nothing but winning and winning big as a head coach.
You watch how far Danny Ainge backs off Spud Webb to try and take away that speed advantage.
Whitman leaves it for Webb. They have 10 on the shot clock now. They spread the defense. One-on-one now with Spud Webb. Dumps it off to Willis. Gives Atlanta their first lead of the ball game.
Once he gets into the paint, the back line of the Celtic defense has to move. Lots of good openings for the Hawks that way.
Good passing by the Celtics. Willis blocks the shot. And here's Spud. Wilkins. And a foul. Kevin McHale on the foul, and this is Hawk basketball by good measure.
Kevin Willis comes from out of nowhere, and I'll tell you, he is doing a great job in this series, blocking shots, rebounding, and really taking advantage of Larry Bird's inattention to an individual player. Bird, a great team defensive player, has turned Willis loose on the offensive boards.
McHale committed a foul. 8 straight points run off by the Atlanta Hawks, and a timeout called by Boston.
Spud Webb creates big problems for you. Respecting Spud's speed, you'll see Danny Ainge right here backed way off, but he gets beaten nonetheless. Larry Bird has to respect that penetration, go in and clog the middle. That allows Willis to pop out along the baseline for the jump shot. This is creative basketball that Spud's speed provides for the Hawks. And it's 2 points. Willis very capable of hitting that shot on the baseline, along with Whitman and Dominique Wilkins.
Pat Riley told us, he says, you know, the problem with Spud Webb is that, you know, when he penetrates, you treat him like he's a fragile player. And guys don't want to challenge him. And he isn't fragile at all. And you have to really challenge him. You just can't let him take it to you. And that's what a lot of teams have experienced.
Well, the Celtics, I think, are going to try and get him out of the game by playing low post with Danny Ainge.
Larry Bird tipped up and in. Bird still hasn't scored yet. And the basket is by McHale, who has 10 points now, quickly in double figures. Under 3 minutes to go, first period. Willis doesn't bank it in and will have a foul right here against the Celtics.
Spud has created very fast basketball for the Hawks, and that is really making the Celtics hustle back on defense and create these foul situations that the Hawks are taking advantage of.
Foul was on McHale, his second. Spud Webb, the slam dunk champion. And it was the victory over the Lakers in February here at the Omni when finally the Hawks decided they could really rely on him and give him more than just 5 or 7 minutes a game. Koncak hits the first free throw.
You have to have a lot of confidence that Spud Webb can put that spark in your offense, because he is a real weakness on defense. But that weakness can be turned to a strength. When you constantly try to go at one guy, a defense will adjust.
Larry Bird inside. Fouled him. And they'll go to the line and shoot 2. John Koncak committing the personal foul. That is his first.
Bird using his intelligence. Dominique Wilkins, the target of most of the Celtics offense. With Bird, the great fake, he knows he's not going to outleap anybody. He makes you guess what he's going to do.
Talk about his versatility, Tommy. He led the Celtics in rebounding in the Game 1 victory, led them in scoring in the Game 2 triumph, and led the Celtics in assists in their Friday night Game 3. So he has taken charge in 3 different categories, and it's a 1-point ball game now. 19-18, the Hawks lead, 2:33 to go in the first period. Webb. There's that jumper we were talking about.
They attacked Larry Bird that time with Willis. He handled the double team beautifully. Nice passing by the Hawks.
Lead is up to 3 once more. Bird working against Webb into Ainge. Bird long range. He'll get that shot going before it's over. He missed there. McHale kept it alive. Dennis Johnson hit. 6 points for Dennis Johnson. He's the second leading scorer behind McHale's 10 for Boston. Webb penetrating. Great shot. Great shot by Spud Webb.
Normally he goes to the full height of his leaping ability before he releases the ball. That time he didn't.
Ainge coming right back with 2. And Danny Ainge, who has been the best shooter for the Celtics, at 71% coming into this game. Dennis Johnson staying with Whitman. Looking inside Willis, posting up Bird. Dominique in the lane as Danny Ainge pulls his arm, and the foul against the Celtics. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn here at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. This is game 4 of the semifinal before a sellout crowd. The Celtics won the first 3 games in Atlanta, scrapping here in the first period and leading the Celtics by 2 now as Wilkins, the leading scorer for Atlanta, going for his 10th point here.
Celtics, by putting McHale on Dominique, hope to take away his quickness advantage with a much bigger player so that when he gets into the paint, Dominique will have a tough time leaping over Kevin McHale. They also try to angle him off the basket so his strength isn't going strong to the hoop.
McHale misses the hook, contact. Defends him well, and here's Spud Webb again. Celtics are back on defense. Doesn't stop Spud.
I love to watch him play. What a weapon. I think when Mike Fratello finally gets the handle on how to use this guy, he's going to be devastating.
Under a minute to go in the first period. Whitman on Dennis Johnson. McHale has the ball slapped away by Randy Whitman. It's a 3-on-2. Kevin Willis loses the ball. Haynes quickly back to Bird. 2-on-1 Boston. And Bird will get a layup. He'll miss it. And when have you seen that? He is 0 for 7 is Larry Bird. Whitman misses. Bird wins the fight. A half a minute to go in the opening period, and it's a wide open end-to-end game now. Danny Ainge scores. And the Hawks can practically play for the last shot of the first period.
But they're keeping the ball in the hands of Spud Webb, who's creating lots of great opportunities for the Hawks.
10 on the shot clock. There's a difference of about a second and a half between the game clock and the shot clock. Webb penetrating. 8 points for Spud Webb. Final seconds, and here's Ainge for 3, and that'll do it. Listen to the crowd. The Hawks lead by 5. In the second half of our NBA playoff doubleheader, the Dallas Mavericks, who had the hero in Derek Harper on Friday night and beat the Lakers, trailed 2-1. LA won the first 2 games at home, and Dallas was down by 3 points when Derek Harper hit the first of 2 3-point shots at the bottom of your screen. Reunion Arena was a wild scene, but the Lakers, not to be undone, came back, and Kareem found Byron Scott at the top for a 3-pointer. It was 108-105. Then it was tied up. And watch the amazing final play of this game that won it for Dallas. There'll be a scramble underneath. James Worthy will toss the ball over his shoulder, but right into the hands of Derek Harper. His 3-pointer at the buzzer gave Dallas the win, 110-108. So game 4, Denver, Dallas, and LA. Denver had Bill Hanslick as their hero. He scored 21 points on Friday night to bring the Nuggets back after losing the first 2 in Houston. The altitude might have gotten to Hakeem Olajuwon for a while, but with 17 seconds left in the game, Denver leading by 1. Hanslick lost the ball and was not pleased at that call. Doug Moe was disturbed that no foul was called there. And then the Rockets, with 8 seconds left in the game, had a chance to win it and take a 3-0 lead. Lewis Lloyd, number 32, is the man. The Rockets chose to take the last shot. Not a good one. It fell short, and Denver won by 1, 116-115. Most of you will see Game 4, Lakers and Dallas, with LA leading 2-1. Some of you will see Houston and a 2-1 lead over Denver following our game. Start of the second period, Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn. The Hawks with Spud Webb. In 5 minutes, scored 8 points and had 3 assists, perfect shooting from the field, and he's in there now still.
This is Bill Walton time for a ball game, and he's not been in. And Scott Whitman, first big man off the bench to replace Kevin McHale.
Parrish hit the jump shot. So Whitman, who usually is Bird's backup, now becomes the prime front court reserve. We don't know whether Walton will play in this game. Bird knocks it away. Still Atlanta ball. 5 seconds remaining on the clock. There's the shooting story in the first period, and that man, Larry Bird, was 0 for 7 from the field to help Boston down to a 33% period. Into the ball game, Johnny Davis, a streak shooting veteran, acquired from Cleveland for Eddie Johnson, a 10-year vet. Contact inside. Good defense by Parrish, but it's tipped up and in by Johnny Davis.
And he's an experienced playoff player, Johnny Davis. And maybe they'll use him a little bit more in this series, should it go past this game.
He was the sixth man in Portland's championship effort in 1977. He's a stabilizer. He and Rollins, the most experienced players on this Atlanta team. Double team on Parrish. Seaston to come in the ball game and misses. Wedman, the rebound. And Scott Wedman, who has not been shooting well, 27% in this series, brings the Celtics to within 3. Boston foul inside. Well, Tommy, they must have taken a page from your idea, because Webb is penetrating and the Hawks are going inside almost exclusively as Wilkins.
The Celtics just do not have anybody to stop Spud Webb. Very few teams do. Like McHale's a tough matchup for most teams. Nobody has the speed to stay with Spud Webb.
Wilkins into the game for Willis. The Hawks are now 8 of 9 from the free throw line, and that has been a big problem for them in the series so far. They came into this game shooting a meager 66% from the line. So they're now 8 out of 10. Celtics haven't missed from the line yet. Bird. They don't double him. And he's 0 for 8 now as Contact gets the rebound. Johnny Davis. 10.5 to play in the second period. Hawks by 4. They led by 5 after 1. Webb inside. Underneath Parrish, too far underneath. Ball comes down in the hands of the Celtics. 4 on 3. Seaston in and out, but there's Bird. Got great position inside. And traveling call against Johnny Davis and the Hawks. Turnover gives the ball back to the Celtics, who can now tie the game.
You know, the Celtics unit out there right now is their best outside shooting unit as a team, and also their fastest unit, so look for them to try and fast break.
A little more than 2 minutes gone by in the second period. Dennis Johnson trying to lose Davis. Wilkins is guarding Wedman. Contact on Parrish. And Contact fighting for the loose ball. Gets it, and here's Dominique in the open court. He's Livingston. It's still Atlanta ball. Livingston trying to put it up directly under the basket and hit the rim.
Wilkins should have given the ball off much sooner than he did, however.
Timeout call with 9:36 to go in the second period. Order in which the first 7 teams will draft. And here are some of the hot prospects that all the teams are looking at. Brad Daugherty, the 6'11 center from North Carolina, who may be best used at either forward position. He can shoot and score. Len Bias may be the meanest, and that's a compliment, player of the scoring forwards out of the University of Maryland. Everyone seems to like him. Then there's high-flying Kenny Walker of the University of Kentucky. He can run the floor, hit from outside, and do this inside for any pro team. Chuck Person of Auburn, strong inside as a 6'8 forward. Remember what Charles Barkley did coming out of Auburn. As far as the guards are concerned, no one knows whether Johnny Dawkins may be best as a point guard or an off guard, but the Duke All-American will be a good guard no matter where he winds up. And then there is Scott Skiles, who may be a solid point guard for some pro team coming out of Michigan State. Scott Skiles of Michigan State could be a sleeper in the upcoming draft.
You know, Dick, looking at these teams that are in the lottery, they're all, I think, going to be looking for the biggest guy that can help them. Brad Daugherty may be considered the top #1 center prospect, but boy, that Bias and Person at the forward spot, they are going to be big bangers on the boards.
That'll be an at-the-half special edition at 1 o'clock next Sunday. And there's another center that a lot of people haven't talked about, and that's Roy Tarpley out of the University of Michigan, who comes from a physical conference, the Big Ten. Larry Bird on the bench has struggled so far, scored 4 points, but sooner or later he'll explode. Dominique Wilkins going in, and it's last touched by the Celtics. Greg Kite is in there now, so Bill Walton apparently will not play in this game. Kite, the third center, has been in limited duty in the series. Rivers to Johnny Davis, who gets the basket. Second hoop for Johnny Davis, so the backup guards for Atlanta have already made a contribution.
Mike Fratello was very concerned about their guard production scoring-wise, and it's starting to happen.
4-point Atlanta lead, 34-30. There's McHale, Livingston the rebound. Here's Johnny Davis in the backcourt with Rivers as Spud Webb gets a rest right now. Livingston, Wilkins, and Koncak up front. So we're seeing the bench from Atlanta and maybe half and half from the Celtics. They've got McHale and Johnson as starters in there. Cliff Livingston hits. Livingston, solid athlete, was acquired along with Antoine Carr in a round-field deal with Detroit a couple of years ago.
I like what Johnny Davis has done for this ball club since he's been in there. A lot of good, intelligent, experienced backcourt play.
Dennis Johnson drills one from outside. Dennis Johnson didn't practice yesterday. He had stiffness in his back, but he's come out and has 8 points, second leading scorer to McHale's 10. Wilkins double teamed by Wedman and Kite. Beats Koncak. Throws the ball away. They try to get it to Doc Rivers.
Now, Dominique made the right play. Koncak should have gone right up with the ball.
Tree Rollins comes back in, replacing Koncak. Scored 1 point, but you can't judge what he did just by the stats. Danny Ainge is back in the game for the Celtics. They have Ainge and Seasting in the backcourt. McHale, Kite, and Wedman up front. There's Ainge. Rebound, and it's a jump ball. Rollins and Wedman. What's Wedman at 6'7", fighting 7-foot Rollins up there?
Wedman, even though he's an outside player, is not afraid to go in there and knock elbows with the best of them.
Celtics with Kite, Wedman, McHale, Seasting, and Ainge. Davis and Rivers the backcourt for the Hawks. Wilkins has the ball with under 8 minutes to go in the first half. They're the leading scorers. So no one's surprised.
You know, the real challenge now is either for Johnny Davis or Doc Rivers to keep that tempo going.
Rollins. Johnny Davis picked up by Ainge. 2 seconds on the clock and a wild toss, and I think McHale touched it last. And so Atlanta will end up with the ball, and the Hawks had to take a desperation shot as the clock wore down.
But they're playing more and more half-court offense without Spud Webb in there.
Kevin Willis in the game, replacing Livingston.
And that's not the best part of the Hawks game. The more they play half-court offense, I think the sooner and the quicker the Celtics are going to climb back into it.
Well, Webb has been the spark plug. He has 9 points and numerous assists so far in the ball game. 3 to be exact, getting a breather right now, and the Hawks not pushing the ball as much with him on the bench. Casey Jones had a question for Darryl Garrettson, and they go over to the scorer's table now. It's Atlanta ball, last touch, and I think they want to know how much time should be on the clock, and it should be 2:24. 24 seconds will be put on the clock.
Shot by Davis, they said, hit the rim. And I think that's what Casey Jones was arguing about at the other end.
7.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Sellout here at the Omni in Atlanta, where the Hawks 36-8 at home, including their playoff action. Johnny Davis fires it off the glass. Wilkins the rebound. Dominique Wilkins did not have an offensive rebound Friday night in Game 3, and there's one, and he may count.
You know, you get natural position, Dominique Wilkins. When you deny him the ball, he's got a great opportunity to get offensive rebounds.
Seasting, long range hit. He gets underway, forget it. 57% during the year. Coming off the bench, dead-eye shooter from outside for the Celtics. McHale, no one was there for the Hawks as Rivers tossed it inside, and the Celtics can come within 2. Basket counts and a foul. Scotty Wedman and Bill Walton leading the cheers from the Boston bench. Scott Wedman with the basket and will go to the line. Foul is on Willis, his second. And when we come back here at the Omni, Larry Bird will come back in the game for the Celtics.
Wedman right here, who is going to try and deny Dominique Wilkins the ball. When he does that, he gives Dominique the inside position for the rebound that Dominique very intelligently takes advantage of. There they are. Get the hand up so Dominique can't get the inside play, but Dominique uses that now to get good position on the offensive glass. He's got the leaping ability against Scott Wedman. He should put it to advantageous work for the Hawks.
He was the leading scorer in the NBA and had an even better first round against Detroit. And then he struggled in the first 2 games against the Celtics, but he has 38 points in Game 3 and now 12 points and 5 rebounds. So whatever the Celtics have been doing against them, Dominique Wilkins may have found the answer to that. He is important to this team. If he doesn't do it, the Hawks don't win, and that's a fact. Right. Scott Webb with a 3-point play, and the Celtics trail by 1. Bird back in.
Bird needs to hit for the Celtics. Got to get some of their flow offensively. They have been hot and cold and sporadic. Not fluid offense by the Celtics.
Double team on Wilkins. Gains the rebound. Seesmith pushing it up. McHale coming into the play now. 15 on the shot clock. This is the passing game. Ainge. Danny Ainge, who will be featured at halftime.
The Celtics have 4 excellent outside shooters in there right now.
Baseline. Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins. 14 points. Game high score, and the Hawks lead by 1 with 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Bird, who has only 4 points. McHale, the leading scorer with 10, misses there. Doc Rivers pushing it up. Rivers runs into Wedman, and an offensive foul called against Rivers, and a great defensive play by Scott Wedman, who jump switched and took a charge. And here's Spud Webb back in. 3 fouls on Rivers. Wedman misses. Rivers didn't get back in the ball game, or Webb didn't. 5.5 to play. Rivers with 3 fouls now. Wilkins and Bird with a good defensive play. The Celtics good inside defense the last 2 times down the floor. Mike Fratello wanted to get Spud Webb in even before that time down the court. And Mike a little bit, just a little bit, perturbed over that.
Coat throwing, jacket throwing, or any kind of throwing usually means a technical foul. Don Nelson knows that, and I certainly know that.
Well, but he threw it down. He didn't throw it out.
Throw it up. If you throw it up and everybody can see it, that's too technical.
You mean if it lands, it's a technical?
If it comes down, you're in trouble.
Webb back in the game, guarded by Ainge. Winding down to 5 minutes to go in the half. They're isolating inside, and Spud Webb. He had Larry Bird in front of him, and Spud Webb now with 11 points in the ball game, bringing the spark back to the Hawks, who are up by 3. Ainge. Bird. Crowd thought he stepped on the line. He didn't. And McHale hits from up on top. McHale leads the Celtics with 12.
You know what's surprising to me, Dick? The Celtics are not playing anywhere near their normal game form, and they're only 1 point down.
Same story in Game 3 Friday night. They didn't play their particular brand as Wilkins comes in and scores. But that's experience. The Celtics are the kind of team that can play off their game and still win. And Hawk foul. And McHale is almost going to give Tree a technical foul. He came very close, Tree did, of getting hit with a tee, and now that's 3 personal fouls on Wayne Rollins. So Rollins and Rivers have 3, and in comes contact.
From underneath, and looked like Tree hit the ball from underneath. Normally they don't call that foul. Tree knows they shouldn't call that foul. Well, if he didn't do it, who did?
I've heard that before. So Rollins is out, contact is in, and a block shot by Willis. Parrish has it now. Well, the Hawks really have size inside, don't they? And depth. And a blocking foul, a call against Atlanta. And it's against contact, his 2nd foul.
Yeah, Scott Wedman not super fast. Contact gets there, and I'll tell you, that is a big person setting one of those things. And Scott Wedman not too happy with the contact.
Well, they got the foul in his favor, and he took a charge at the other end. So Wedman drawing on his vast experience in the playoffs and in the league to make a great contribution. 3-point shot by Scott Wedman.
He is the hot hand right now for the Celtics. Get him in the game. They will.
Inside. And a holding foul against The Celtics.
I mean, the Celtics made a long-distance shot, and before they could get entirely up the court, Spud Webb had the ball and was attacking the basket. That's what a weapon he is.
2 fouls now on McHale. 3 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in the first half. Wilkins. And they're going to call the offensive foul, hitting Ainge with his elbow.
When he turned right into the double team, Danny Ainge came down from on top, and Danny has been stunned, really.
We haven't seen him this groggy since Sedale Threet and Danny got hooked up in Philadelphia.
Well, we didn't really see that. We just saw the replay of it. But here you see Dominique's right elbow right in the cheek, and he saw some stars.
3.5 to play. McHale, 12 points, leading scorer for Boston. Rebound is by Willis. And the Hawks leading the tide now, 44-all with 3:20 to go. Bird the rebound, and the Celtics looking for a lead they haven't had in a while. Wedman deflected. Dominique Wilkins is down at the other end. McHale and Willis went up, but here is Dominique Wilkins. And Dominique writhing on the floor.
He came strong to the basket, and he collided with Robert Parrish. I don't know who hit him, whether it was Parrish or McHale, but he sure hit the deck hard.
Joe O'Toole, the Hawks trainer, and Tree Rollins helping him off, and Wilkins was very much stunned. A technical foul has been charged to Kevin Willis. There is the incident on Wilkins, and a technical on Kevin Willis on the play at the other end, and picked up his 3rd foul as well. Here it is.
Here's another angle of it. He takes a real difficult shot. The Celtics are trying to surround him. He bumps into Parrish, knocks Parrish out of the way, and I think he ran into Parrish's elbow.
That was at the other end. Willis committed his 3rd foul. Dominique Wilkins trying to shake it off. Well, one thing about these Hawks, they have enough depth up front with their 7-footers that they can take a lot of fouls. But right now, Willis and Rollins each have 3. You don't want to overdo it.
Watch the elbow coming up here by Parrish. And it's unintentional. He was going for the rebound. And it's hidden behind contact, but already the blow has been struck.
And this is the technical foul on Willis that Danny Ainge will shoot. The Celtics are perfect from the free throw line today.
You know, when you talk fast break basketball, that's one thing. This man is important to get out on the wing and come strong and what they call a finisher, strong layups off the fast break. But this team has the potential, the Hawks, of being a great offensive pressure team. They've got to be more selective on their shots. I think Dominique Wilkins' selection of shots is hurting his club right now.
One out of 2 for McHale. That's the first miss from the line for the Celtics. Those are the Hawks with 3 personal fouls. 3 minutes to go in the first half. The Celtics regain the lead, 46-44. Wilkins looks like he'll be heading back in. They isolate Spud Webb again, and it's a 1-4 offense for the Hawks. Webb hits the jumper. 13 points for Spud Webb. He's averaged 8 points in this series.
They're going to give him that shot as many times he wants to take it because they're afraid he'll get by him.
Wedman, who has scored 8 points off the bench. Bill Walton apparently not ready to play with that strained knee. Bird. Rebound is by Spud at 5-7. Spud. He's Whitman. There he is. Whitman. That's what a great penetrator can do for you.
And a great advance man. A whole defense of the Celtics in the paint to stop the penetration.
Hawks regain the lead now by 48-46, and Parrish ties it up. The Hawks are not playing as if they have no shot at this series, trailing 3-0. They're going to take this today and then try their luck. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half and 12 on the shot clock. Whitman picked up by Wedman. Webb in the crowd. Contact. Blocked out of bounds by Robert Parrish.
Spud Webb, where does he have the gall to get in there and do stuff like this at 5'6"? And up the court he comes with it. I mean, he's going to put it in your face. And when it comes at you, good things happen. Outside jump shots.
Celtics and Hawks at 48 apiece with 1:37 to go in the second period. To tell you what's coming up at halftime, let's send you down to Dallas, Texas, where Pat O'Brien is. Pat?
Thank you, Dick. A little quiet here. A rather entertaining and informative halftime today as we first get you up to date on all the playoff news, East and West, and update that Milwaukee-Philadelphia series. We'll try to explain just what it is like in Dallas during the playoffs. It is wild. And a profile of Danny Ainge fighting a tainted image. And, you know, this is the kind of thing a lot of people remember Danny for. Tuesday night in Atlanta, after a heated argument, he is tossed out of the game, double technical, and he's getting his licks. He's taking his licks today in today's game as well. And he'll talk about his image with us on At the Half and a breaking story on Reggie Jackson. All that on At the Half. Back to you, Dick.
All right, Pat, most of you will see the Lakers in Dallas. Game 4, Lakers lead 2-1 in that series. Houston has a 2-1 lead over Denver. Your thoughts on that doubleheader?
Well, I think Dallas at home is going to be tough to beat, and this matchup here is really a dandy. I think these two players do not like each other. They think that they're the premier backcourt future shooter in the NBA, and they're trying to prove it in this series.
The Hawks will inbound with Randy Whitman. We have 1:37 to go in the first half, 22 seconds on the shooting clock. Spud Webb with 13 points coming off the bench. Whitman. Good outside shooter is Randy Whitman, who came back from knee surgery to have a fine year. And the Hawks lead by 2.
That's not a bad situation to come out of a timeout. Get it to Whitman because he can score on those jump shots.
Whitman double team, gets it inside, knocked away by Livingston, and Whitman has it. Livingston is up front with Wilkins in contact. Whitman and Webb in the backcourt. Wilkins. Inside Livingston, throws it away into the hands of Ainge, but the Celtics force that play. Whitman. Oh, shit! And a rebound by Wilkins. Here's Webb. Look at that thing. Just couldn't put it over the top. And the Celtics come right back. Bird to Parrish. And there's an example of tremendous Celtic passing. Bird could have easily taken the shot, but he saw Parrish coming in, a short pass, but it drew the foul.
But they bring their big men up behind the fast break and use them very effectively. Bird ever alert to watch for Parrish or McHale as a trailer.
Fouls on Whitman is first. Dennis Johnson reports back into the ball game. Scott Whitman, with an outstanding first half, scored 8 points.
What a great move by Spud Webb. Fakes the pass, but then gets caught too far under so he can't bring the ball over the rim.
Parrish has scored 7 points today. Now Bird is in a horrendous shooting slump in the first half, 1 for 10. But he'll beat you in a lot of other ways with Larry Bird. Passing, rebounds, and of course he plays that great team defense. He doesn't necessarily have to stick on one man. He'll anticipate as well as anyone.
And he's going to be guarding Dominique Wilkins right now, and that's a challenge for Bird because Wilkins has that great first step. Bird not noted for his speed of foot.
6 seconds on the shot clock. 1-4 again. Spud Webb can't do it, and Wilkins. Offensive foul over the top. He sent Kevin McHale flying, and Wilkins is really upset now. That'll be his second personal foul.
Dominic is getting much too emotional right now. He's trying to create too many things for himself. Here's a good move by Spud. One-on-one, but you'll see Dominique come just right over the top of McHale. Now McHale saying, did you see that? Somebody hit me.
It's a loose ball foul. That's the charge on Wilkins, and here's McHale with 15 seconds to go in the first half.
Dominique is playing like a bull in the china closet right now, just trying to make too many things happen quickly without getting into the flow of the game.
Except he has 16 points to lead everybody, and there coming in is Sam Vincent, promising young guard, the 20th pick, who's played only 8 minutes in 2 games. So Vincent making kind of a surprising entrance here in this game.
Well, it's not surprising to me, Dick, because he is one of the few guys that can get down to the level of Spud Webb. I mean, when you play Spud, you got to get close to the floor. Danny Ainge has been doing a heck of a job at 6'5". To play Spud Webb, you almost have to get down on your knees, and it's pretty tough to backtrack on your knees. So Sam Vincent in there right now to try and play a little defense on Spud.
So what this shows is that Casey Jones now says, I got to find an answer to Spud Webb, and he's going to a guy that he hasn't used. So that's a plus for the Atlanta Hawks here in this game 4.
Well, that's how fearful the Celtics and most of the coaches in the NBA are of Spud Webb. You know, it's not size that's important in basketball. A lot of people think you got to be big. It's speed and quickness. If you couple that with size, so much the better.
We'll find him. He's behind McHale. He's hiding somewhere. So here's Kevin McHale.
You can hide him behind a postage stamp.
14 points still for McHale as he misses the free throw. And now the Hawks trailing by 1, playing for the last shot to try to take the lead.
Well, take your turn at Spud, Sam.
5 seconds to go, and Vincent. That is only the 13th foul against the Boston Celtics, and that is only the first in the last 2 minutes. So the Hawks will inbound with 4 seconds remaining.
And they use Sam to pick up that foul so he could waste it and not give it to Danny Ainge.
Vincent's out of the game. 4 seconds to go. Contact in trouble, and he didn't get it in time. 5 seconds. The ball has to be touched within 5 seconds, and Contact couldn't do it. Celtic defense again. So with 3 seconds to go and a 1-point lead, here's McHale. Short. And that's the end of the first half. Well, Larry Bird is 1 for 10 from the field and only 4 points. Atlanta's playing a good ball game. And yet, the Boston Celtics, who are looking for the sweep, lead 51-50 after 1 half before the sellout here at an Omni. Coming up, Pat O'Brien from Dallas at the half when we return.
CBS Sports coverage of the NBA playoffs is sponsored by Dodge, a performance revolution, an American revolution. And by Liberty Mutual for your auto, home, life, and business insurance.
Well, the giant in today's game is Spud Webb, but the Celtics lead it 51-50. That is in the Omni. We are inside Reunion Arena in Dallas, Texas, and inside right now are Brent Musburger, Billy Cunningham, and there's Magic Johnson. They're talking a little hoops, and relax now, guys, because that's about as quiet as it gets here, because in a little more than an hour, this place will be a madhouse as the Mavericks try to even their series with the Lakers. And hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien. Once again, welcome to At the Half. First up, let's take you around the league. On top, the series you're watching, Boston-Atlanta, Game 4. And down below, the Sixers now lead the Bucks 2-1. Gary Bender covered a wild Game 3 yesterday and has the aftermath with this report.
It was old-timers day in the Spectrum in Philadelphia, and one of those old-timers, the Dr. Julius Erving, cut the Bucks' lead to 1 with 44 seconds to go with a shot off the glass. The Bucks then, protecting that 1-point lead, come down the floor. Terry Cummings on the drive. Clement Johnson reaches in, bats the ball away. Sedell Threatt is able to retrieve it. Now watch this play. Threatt overthrows Erving. Erving somehow is able to track it down, has the presence of mind to hit another old-timer, Bobby Jones. He scores, he's fouled, he completes the three-point play, and the Sixers go on to win 107-103. After the game, we had the chance to visit with Bobby Jones.
As you look ahead to the next game and the rest of this series, can the old-timers keep it going?
Well, it's tough. Milwaukee has a mental toughness that few teams have in this league, and they're not down by any means. I think we can win, but it'll be tough for us. We've got to play very well to beat this team.
And so the Philadelphia 76ers take a 2-1 lead in this best-of-7 series. From Philadelphia, I'm Gary Bender, CBS Sports.
So the old-timers are doing it out in the East. Out here in the West, well, it is time to once again call it the Wild, Wild West. And the hottest ticket in Dallas today, if you could get one, is Game 4 between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks. It is hard to describe what Reunion Arena is like, so we'll try to show you. It is party time in Dallas. It's time to bring out the Blues Brothers, as they did this weekend. They even have an organized Jack Nicholson look-alike contest, free shades and all. If you can't make fun of the Lakers, make fun of their fans. And some of it worked.
Well, Nurse Ratchet, We want to watch the World Series.
Well, Jack wasn't at the World Series. He was at the game, but soon forgotten because in Dallas, the Stars are their beloved Mavericks, and they let them know it all game long.
It has gotten louder. I think the guys in the cheap seats put a lot of pressure on the millionaires in the front seats to get up and start shouting like that.
How much do you think the fans help the team?
Oh, without them, we're nothing.
Well, the players know a good thing when they hear one. Their opponents know they're up against the largest bench in NBA history, 17,007 deep.
It's a great atmosphere here, and you like that, you know, because now they're making you play to the highest level you can because you want to just shut them up.
Most of you will see that contest later. Trust me, this place is a nut house during the playoffs. Some of you will go to another place, though, that isn't exactly calm, McNichols Arena in Denver, where the Nuggets host the Rockets. And for a preview of that contest, let's go to my colleague, Jim Cunningham and Magic Johnson have gone back to work preparing for this afternoon's game between the Lakers and the Mavs. But first, we have a breaking story for you about Reggie Jackson. Last night in a Milwaukee bar, the California Angels veteran superstar reportedly got into a nasty fight with an autograph seeker. Now, as far as we can find out, reports is that Reggie, after a heated argument, slammed a man's head into the bar, cutting his chin and bruising his head. Jackson was questioned by police and released, and we're told that the DA in Milwaukee is investigating this incident. Now, back to basketball, and let's talk for a moment about Danny Ainge, a valuable member, as you know, of the Boston Celtics. But what do you think when you consider Danny? Is it his game, or is it his image? Images. Whether you realize it or not, we all tend to pin images on certain athletes. Images that follow the athletes wherever they go. And then there's Danny Ainge, who you might say has an image problem.
Ainge will get a technical foul.
There's something about him that irritates people greatly. He pouts and cries about every call. He has a facial expression. He has an angelic look in repose, but he immediately becomes agitated when things do not go his way.
Well, it seems things have always gone Danny's way. When he wanted out of his baseball contract, the Celtics rescued him and made him a millionaire. But you can't buy friends.
And I don't think it's accurate that I'm a cheap shot or a dirty player. You go on the road and people don't like me grabbing people when they have breakaway lay-ins. They think that's dirty basketball. They think that that's not right. I think that that is good basketball and smart basketball.
When Danny Ainge is not playing basketball, he retreats to this quiet neighborhood in a suburb outside of Boston, where he leads a relatively quiet life. Come to think of it, that's a word you don't usually hear when you talk about Danny Ainge. Quiet.
Here we go. Danny Ainge. Oh, a free-for-all.
When fans say, whose finger are you going to bite next? Or, you know, who are you going to sucker punch next, you know? I think that I just like them to get their facts straight. Hey, I'm the one who got my finger bit. I'm the one who got sucker punched.
Do guys go after you after the Tree Rollins thing and after the Siddell thing?
I don't think so.
Do other players go after you?
I honestly feel that that I've earned the respect of the NBA players.
Ainge, that wimp? Well, I guess as far as guards go, he's pretty competitive. He's a tough individual. I've never seen him back down.
Danny can be a type of guy. I'm sure if he didn't play on our team, I'd hate him.
Sometimes it seems as if there are two Danny Ainges. The fact is, this Mormon can never get rid of his game face.
I brought him home to meet my parents and my brother, and they went and, I think my brother was 12, so Danny must have been 19. Went down on our court to play soccer, and he killed him. He didn't even give my poor little brother a chance. So, you know, he won't give up on anybody or anything.
He gets booed in every city. I laugh. You know, when he got booed in Hartford, and then when Kansas City moved to Sacramento, he's been booed in 25 cities. I said, that's got to be a record.
But in the city with the parquet and a guy named Larry, Danny Ainge's image fits in just fine.
I don't like the image of being a cheap shot. I feel that I am a crucial part of the team. I like the image of my teammates and the coaches and the fans in Boston have of me. I like it much more, a guy that just goes out and plays hard and does whatever it takes to win.
Say or think what you want, Danny Ainge is one of the most competitive players in the league. We're about to see him play another half here as Dick and Tommy get ready to go back to work. I'm Pat O'Brien. Thank you for joining us at the half. Enjoy the second half here on CBS. See you later.
Wilson back here in Atlanta with the Celtics leading by 1. Mike Fratello told us yesterday that if we can shoot pretty well and the Celtics can miss, and so far that's happening, Atlanta 46%, he'd like to see in the 50s, but Boston only 38%. And if he said we can hold our own on the boards, and they certainly have done that with the rebounding edge of 5, he says we can win the game. Now the turnovers have hurt the Hawks to the tune of 12-4 when you look at the points. But on rebounding and shooting, Tom Heinsohn, why do the Boston Celtics have the lead and not the Hawks?
They're just smarter players right now. Quite frankly, that's what it is. And the worst fears of Mike Fratello have been realized. He's gotten exactly what he wants, and he's down by 1. I'm sure in the locker room he says, what can we do? I think they've got to pace the game. They've been in fits and starts, getting it up the court. And Spud Webb has to really become the creator. I think Dominic has to get under control.
The point is that you said that Spud Webb has been the only man who has really been able to get that pace game going for the Hawks.
It seems when Doc Rivers is in the game, they pull it up and go to the half-court offense. And the Hawks are not going to beat the Celtics that way.
Pick and roll is blocked inside by Kevin Willis, and here's Wilkins. And he's fouled. Good defense inside by the 7-foot Kevin Willis on a blocked shot, and that's the kind of a play that normally you can just chalk up the 2 for Boston.
You're going to see McHale on a great move to the hoop and a pass, but Willis intelligently cuts off the penetration. Now, this is the best of Dominique Wilkins in the open court. The Celtics ended up fouling him so that he couldn't get an emotional lift from scoring a hoop.
Danny Ainge with his 3rd personal foul and the first Celtic to hit 3, as Wilkins now looking for his 18th point of the game. He led the NBA scoring over 30 a game.
You know what the Celtics do? They try to demoralize Dominique Wilkins by attacking him, making him face the ball against Larry Bird, and they're not going to let him score any easy baskets, so they're not trying to let him get up to that emotional plateau he likes to play at.
Bird hits his first shot. 1 for 10 was Larry Bird at halftime, and hits his first shot here in the second.
And he's smiling.
But Doc Rivers, penetrating all the way in, comes right back for the Atlanta Hawks.
That's what they need from Doc Rivers. Up the court quick.
Ainge for 3, and he hits. So Danny Ainge with a 3-point shot. Celtics leading by 2, and Whitman misses, and McHale clears. A little over a minute elapsed here in the second half. Dennis Johnson comes back and misses. Rollins with the rebound.
Celtics showing that they're willing to run with the Hawks right now.
Wilkins doubled with Ainge and Bird. Willis, rare outside shot for him. That's not his best by any means. And Parrish gets the board.
Well, Wilkins didn't force it against the double team. That's a good sign that Fratello may have reached him at halftime.
Ainge playing with 3 fouls, gets it low in to McHale, and a fine pass by Danny Ainge. He got it to McHale at just the precise time. Celtics matching their biggest lead of the ball game. They were up 14-10, and now they have a 58-54 advantage. Hawks led by 6 in the second period.
Here comes Danny Ainge on a double.
Rivers hitting outside, so he's coming off sharp. He may want to keep Spud Webb on the bench.
Well, Doc Rivers, if he can produce right now, it could be effective and still keep Spud for key moments.
And an illegal defense called against the Atlanta Hawks. First time they've been called for it. Second time, is it?
We're going to see Kevin McHale. He gets as good a position and knows how. But look at that nice pass by Danny Ainge away from the defender. It's awfully difficult to teach somebody to make that pass.
And a technical foul will be shot when we return. The old Tarragon Ballroom. This is a big ball that's atop one of the ends here at the Omni in Atlanta. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn, where a soft drink company celebrating a 100th anniversary has closed off one total end here at the Omni. So instead of 16,000 fans, we have 12,000 fans here, and that's what it looks like. And that scoreboard you see at the other end is being actually brought from a camera around the back. That scoreboard is not over the top as it normally is. So they have 12,000 instead of 16,000, and only one end is working. Danny Ainge made the technical foul on the illegal defense second violation. Just under 10 minutes to go in the third period. Celtics lead 59-56, and Wilkins missed a chance to tie it up with a wild 3-pointer. Danny Ainge with a three-point attempt. Atlanta will inbound.
This would normally be where you've got to get 2 points. Find the guy, and Whitman might be the guy they go to when there is a stop in the action. Get the ball to Whitman. He's the most intelligent. He can use the picks the best.
There's Whitman going in. Wilkins crashing the boards, but Ainge comes out with it, and the Celtics running with Johnson. Dennis Johnson pulls up. Bird gets the rebound and is fouled. Larry Bird just stole the ball away from Rollins and Willis and wanted the ball more than they did and got it and was fouled.
You know what the Celtics do so well on their fast break is on the misses, they rebound beautifully. You really got to concentrate on getting outside and blocking them off, and Bird just doesn't let you do it.
Cliff Livingston back into the ball game, and Willis goes out with his 4th personal foul.
And I call this man the brain. Every time I look out on the basketball court, all I see is a big, big brain with Spalding written on it. A basketball brain supreme. I tell you, he thinks this game, and he's always 5 steps ahead of you.
His high school coach from Terre Haute, Indiana, is here to watch him play. His old college coach, Bill Hodges from Indiana State, was here on Friday to watch him. 9:15 to go in the 3rd period. The ball knocked away. Contact lost it, actually. And here come the Celtics, leading by 5. The biggest lead of the game, trying to add to it. Ainge is open. Ainge in the corner. And Livingston clears. Can't get the outlet pass. McHale wouldn't let him do it. Rivers now penetrating. Doc Rivers lays it in.
The Celtics got over the outlet, the rebound, and try to cut off the outlet. You've got to have willpower to run against the Celtics. Force it at them. Be determined.
They're inexperienced, though. It's easier said than done. Here is Bird working against Dominique Wilkins, looking for the inside pass. Finds McHale. McHale rolls off into the hands of Tree Rollins. And now the Hawks can narrow it to 1 point here. Whitman in the corner. McHale out to Bird, and the Celtics running. Dennis Johnson. Bird controls. Rivers is on him. There's a mismatch. Livingston is guarding Dennis Johnson inside. See what Bird does with Rivers. Pick and roll to Parrish, and Rollins breaks it up with a good deflection.
That was great defense that time by Tree Rollins and by Dominique. It was Glenn Rivers who had to pick up Bird.
This Spud Webb back in the ball game for the Atlanta Hawks. Rivers goes out.
Boy, he fights the pick beautifully, gets on his shooting hand, and they retreat it back nicely to knock that pass out of bounds.
Dennis Johnson. Ball away. At the buzzer. They got it off, but they missed. And here's Spud racing Danny Ainge, and they're going to call the foul on Ainge. That'll be 4 on Danny.
That's may be a big foul. Danny Ainge trying to angle him off. Keep him out of the middle. Limit his passing possibilities. Keep him to one side of the court. There was the foul.
61-58 in favor of the Celtics. Webb hits, and it's a 1-point game.
I think Mike Fratello said, I guess I got to play Spud to make this thing happen.
15 points for Spud Webb, second to Wilkins' 18. McHale, double team, draws the foul, as only McHale can do it.
You know, a double team normally causes a lot of confusion in a player and puts you under pressure. You're not quite sure where you're going to get the shot. It takes total poise to get a shot off. Well, watch McHale. Gets good position. The double comes in, and he finds some blue sky, a little fake, to free himself.
He misses the first free throw, but Kevin McHale with 16 points and 10 rebounds leads the Celtics in both categories. Seasting, you saw, came in for Danny Ainge, who goes out with 4 personal fouls.
You know, Dick, you contrast the poise that McHale has now handling the double teams against Dominique Wilkins, and you'll see the difference. Wilkins doesn't read it quite as well and gets too emotional.
Wilkins double team. Looking for help, has Webb. Seasting staying with him. 6 on the shot clock for the Atlanta Hawks. Wilkins for 3, short. Bird taps it out of bounds. It's still Hawks ball in a new 24. This is game 4 of the best-of-7 Eastern Conference semifinal. The Boston Celtics, who swept Chicago in 3 straight, are leading 3-0. They are the only team yet to lose a playoff game in the 1986 NBA playoffs. Whitman to Webb. Penetrating. Good feed to Wilkins. Basket counts it, and a foul.
That's where Dominique is at his best. When they lose their concentration on him and start thinking about Spud Webb, there's Dominique, and he can use his then strength against that Celtic defense, power it through.
Robert Parrish with 3 personal fouls. Timeout, Boston. 62, and we have had 7 ties today with 6:48 remaining in the third. But coming up next, we will have a second half of an NBA doubleheader, and they'll involve the Western Conference. The Lakers and the Rockets hold 2-1 leads. Lakers playing in Dallas. The Rockets are in Denver. Most of you will see the Lakers against the Dallas Mavericks at Reunion Arena. Some of you will see the Houston-Denver matchup at McNichols Arena, and a chance for Dallas and Denver to draw even in their best-of-7 series. Dominique Wilkins not shooting well, but 20 points to lead all scores. And Bill Walton, who has not played today, they thought he might, finally with the ice pack off of his knee. Well, the Hawks lead by 1. Seasting.
The Celtics now might go at Dominique Wilkins. Bird not having a particularly good game.
It's like they want to post up Webb with Seasting. Even though Seasting's not that much bigger, they throw it away.
Well, they're going to try and pick on Spud Webb, make him play a little defense. Seasting is not a good post-up player. If Danny Ainge was in there, definitely Danny would be down on the block.
But Ainge has 4 fouls. That was only the 5th turnover for the Celtics today. And now the Hawks with a 1-point lead and the ball. 6:20 to go, third period. Dominique Wilkins. 23 for Neek.
That's where Dominique set some picks. Let him get rid of McHale.
Webb steals the ball from McHale, and a blocking foul against Dennis Johnson.
I just love this kid. He's all over the place like a fly. And I'm telling you, once he gets the ball, the Celtics want to stop him as quick as possible. Dennis Johnson steps right up into him to make sure he can't get up the court. But the foul on DJ.
Halfway through this third period, Hawks by 3, and Webb once again the igniter. Wilkins. Bird fighting for the loose ball, out of bounds, and it's Boston's possession.
And that's where Kevin McHale's long arms came into play. Had his left hand up right on the shooting hand of Dominique. He's not only taking the speed away from him by backing off, but also that great leaping ability that Wilkins has.
Dennis Johnson is guarded by Spud Webb right now. Harris, Wedman, and Bird fight, and it comes down into the hands of Spud Webb. Watch him push it up. Alley-oop to Wilkins, and a foul. That man ought to be keeping our turnover stats, don't you think?
But this is a dynamic combination. It could be one of the most fun combinations in the history of the league. Spud Webb and Dominique Wilkins. Get them out on the open court. You're dead.
A 12-1 run by the Atlanta Hawks, and timeout Boston. They're going wild here in Atlanta.
Spud Webb is the guy that puts life into this basketball team. I think he's got to be out on the court an awful lot. And these two guys together, when Spud makes something like that happen, he also leads the cheers. That guy appreciates it. Who is that guy?
That's what the Hawks have done to the Celtics lately. Keep in mind, it's been a long time since the Hawks beat Boston. Celtics won all 6 regular season games. They won 9 in a row, counting the playoffs. They won 9 straight, the Celtics have, here at the Omni. Been a long time. Celtics coming right back as they're known to do, but Livingston blocks McHale. How often do you see that?
And guess who's got it again?
Webb to Wilkins. The bench tells the story for the Celtics. A 14-1 run. And Atlanta, they are running the Boston Celtics to the tune of 70-62. Biggest lead either team has had today. They're posting up Webb now with Dennis Johnson, who's doubled. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Whitman hits a three-pointer, and that'll quiet the crowd.
Well, Casey Jones brought Whitman in as a guard, which could force the matchup of DJ against Webb. You know, and it's an awfully difficult matchup for Spud, but they can handle it, the Hawks, if they play good team defense.
10 seconds on the clock. Livingston misses, and Parrish the rebound. 4 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the third period. McHale and Bird are a combined 7 for 26 shooting. And a Hawk foul. That'll be their third team foul here in the third period. The Celtics are in the penalty, and it's Dominique Wilkins with number 3 for him.
You know, if you concentrate too much on trying to get Spud Webb out of the game by posting up Dennis Johnson, you ruin your own offensive
steal.
flow.
You're right. Webb against Johnson. That's a good point, Tommy.
And Dennis Johnson is definitely not the guy to be able to stop Spud Webb on his rushes up the court.
Got to be Ames or maybe Sam Vincent, who briefly appeared at the end of the period. Larry Bird gave Webb a shove. Nothing was called. The shot missed, and now the Hawks have it. Webb is undaunted. He comes right back. Randy Whitman. Foul. No basket. And a foul is called, and Mike Fratello's Hawks have taken a 72-65 lead. What about this play, though?
Well, Bird right now says, I can't stand this little guy. It's like a flea. Get off of me. Not a nice thing, but, you know, fly paper, they're trying to stick to Spud Webb like fly paper, and they can't even get near him.
Well, Danny Ainge with 4 fouls is back in the ballgame to see what he can do. Whitman misses the free throw. The personal foul was on Larry Bird, his second. So here's Randy Whitman, who has 11 points today and is shooting 54% from the field in the series. He has 9 right now.
I mean, this kid provides spark on your team.
Harris high post. 15 on the shot clock against Livingston. He burned Livingston in game 1. McHale takes Rollins and goes up strong, and he's fouled by Livingston.
Hard foul in the NBA. No layups. You're going to hit him, make sure he doesn't score the hoop, and then get a chance to make it a three-point play. But Livingston is a gutsy rebounder and has got some speed, and he'll give up his body underneath that board.
Kevin McHale is the leading scorer for the Celtics, but 5 of 15 from the field. Dominique Wilkins already has 28 to lead Atlanta. They only have 2 players in double figures. Wilkins with 28 and Spud Webb with 17.
This team needs to learn how to fast break off of rebounds and made free throws too, Atlanta. Would they be dynamite if they could do that?
Celtics wind up with it on the miss by Wilkins. Parrish. Dennis Johnson. And Rollins out to Webb. Here he comes, 3-on-2. Livingston. Bird for 3. And he's still struggling. 2 for 12 from the field for Larry Bird. And the crowd here in Atlanta loves it. You'd never know the Hawks were down 3-0 in this series.
Mike Fratello pulls them out so that Spud Webb can go one-on-one against Danny Ainge.
Rebound Hawks. Livingston again, and an offensive foul against Atlanta. Loose ball foul, make it. Loose ball foul against Cliff Livingston, his third.
McHale sees him coming, but what can I do? A song. But what can I do? Get out of the way. I mean, you don't know what to do with that kid. He can go under you, over you, around you, and it creates great opportunities for anybody that'll hustle up there with him.
Webb goes out of the game. Here's the reaction.
Well, he may be a little tired right now, Dick. I mean, that takes an awful lot of energy, what he was doing, rebounding and then pushing it length of the court.
Doc Rivers comes in for him, and Greg Kite comes in for the Celtics' Robert Parrish, who goes out with 3 personal fouls. He has scored 8 points today.
You know, Rivers, when he's in the ball game, may be as effective at pushing the ball up the court, but he doesn't give him the spark. I mean, this kid is like Dr. J used to give to the identity
to
the 76ers.
How many guys in the league have that spark?
Well, Isaiah does, okay? But this kid at 5'6", the other players love to play with him.
Who else besides Isaiah Thomas?
Magic Johnson is another one. That gives an identity. Dr. J, when he's on the court, this kid can gives this team a feeling of what they can be.
So Parrish is back in. He was the man who was fouled, so he has to return and will shoot the fouls here. So Doc Rivers doesn't give him the speed. You then mentioned Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson, the 2 best in the league, really.
Well, if this kid has improved, that he's got some real skills that he can give to this basketball team, I'm going to leave the booth, okay? Because he has got great offensive pressure basketball skills.
We're not in the booth. We're sitting in courtside.
Oh, we're on courtside.
Celtics are shooting 25% this period, and keep in mind, they were 38% at halftime. Winding down to 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd period. Whitman throws up an air ball, and 2 minutes to go. Atlanta by 7. Trailed by 1 at halftime. Rivers is all over Bird. He's got size on Rivers. Crashes into Rollins, and that's the kind of front court physical basketball you've got to play against the Boston Celtics.
A Bird can even do it against a very good defensive guard. Doc Rivers really spreading out, not wanting to let him spin, but Bird's strong to the basket. And boy, I'm telling you, it's hard fouls all the way by the Hawks right now.
Concat comes into the ball game, and Rollins will go out for the Hawks. He has 13 rebounds for the game, 8 of them this period. He has not scored, one of the top shot blockers in the NBA, and a 9-year veteran in the league. Kite came in for Parrish. Johnny Davis will give Randy Whitman a rest right now for the Hawks. Right now, let's just check who's out there. We got Concat, Livingston, Wilkins, Rivers, and Davis for Atlanta. Bird, Whitman, Kite, Ainge, and Dennis Johnson for the Celtics. A lot of substitutions.
This is the real second unit of the Hawks. Let's see if they can keep the pace of the game up there. Again, the more they go to their half-court offense, the better the team defense of the Celtics can be.
Atlanta established their biggest lead of the game for either team, 8 points here in this 3rd period. 5-point game now. Rivers going in. Knocked away by Whitman, and a foul is called against the Celtics. Coming into the ball game, making his first appearance, is Scott Hastings, 6'10" and a half, who had a little scrap with Danny Ainge in Boston in Game 2. A journeyman who played well in the first 2 games against the Celtics.
A banger with a touch. He's got a good outside touch, and he's not afraid to get in there and spread out and take up some room.
Foul was on Whitman, his first. Sounds like Tommy Heinsohn.
I like that kind of player. I mean, get underneath there. Get your hair mussed out.
Minute and a half to go in the 3rd period. The Atlanta Hawks leading 77-70. Trying to stay alive here in this Eastern semi. Bird with a layup.
Great pick by Greg Kite to open up that attack for Larry Bird.
Only his 3rd basket today.
They're trying to get him into the game, the Celtics.
A 1-4 offense, this time with Rivers, the point guard. Ainge defending, 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Now, doing this destroys the tempo of the game for the Hawks. Trying to take time off the clock.
Steal by Bird. All right.
To me, is meaningless.
Crowd thought it was an over and back violation. Nothing called. Quick passing. Bird can't hit 2 in a row as he misses the outside shot. 44 seconds to go in the period. Good point, though, Tommy, because the Hawks have had the Celtics.
But then you got to re-energize yourself to try and get it back up to that pace. Once you get it up there, you got to try and keep it up there.
8 on the shot clock. Johnny Davis feeding inside. Hastings, and a fine pass by the 10-year veteran Johnny Davis.
You know, when you keep attacking the other team the way Spud Webb makes you, it gives you a real aggressive attitude.
Well, we know that not everyone can do it like Webb.
But they're holding it out. You know, now they go for the last shot.
6 on the shot clock. Bird. Larry Bird. 5 seconds to go, and Bird has 14 in the game. He'll be heard from before this one's over. The 3-point shot is missed by Rivers, and that's the end of the third period with the score. The Hawks 79, the Celtics 74. We'll return after this word from your local station. Hawks took a 5-point lead at 29-24 after 1 period of play. Spud Webb a spark there. The Celtics, though, being outshot and out-rebounded, had a 1-point lead at halftime. But a 14-1 run here in the third period has given the Hawks a 79-74 lead. Their biggest lead was 8 in that period, cut to 5. Where are the Hawks right now, Tommy, as you look at things going into the final 12 minutes?
I think they got to carry a double-figure lead down to the last 2 minutes of the game because they don't operate quite as effectively with their half-court offense in the last part of the game as the Celtics do.
Same group that finished the third period in there now. John Koncak with Hastings and Livingston. Loose ball. Bird got hit in the face and doesn't want to be helped up by Koncak. And the foul is called against Koncak, his third.
Everybody's getting belted in this one. And Greg Kite putting a little muscle on Koncak. Bird over there to double team, but Koncak says, "You're going down for the count, pal."
Well, he tried to help him up, and Bird said, "Forget it. I know how to do this.
I know how to get up."
Seasting, so far today, has scored 2 points. Looking for his outside shooting. Bird, 2-point attempt, no good. Crashing the boards. Livingston comes down into the hands of Rivers. Koncak looks inside, nothing there.
That's where he should have taken his shot. And next year he probably will.
The rookie, and a good one from SMU.
Good outside shooter from that range.
6 on the shot clock. Hastings, good pass to Koncak, and a great block inside. Parrish and Bird, and it was Parrish who got credit for it. Bird with a screen, no basket. And Robert Parrish is called for a foul inside.
Look at this block out coming up by Cliff Livingston. They can't get it, boy. He seals him, spreads out, put him right in his back, and kept him there.
Parrish with 4 fouls now. McHale leading the Celtics with 19. Wilkins is 28 for the Hawks. Spud Webb on the bench with 17. Larry Bird has 14. Throws it away. Rivers. And another turnover. Where the Hawks have had their problems today. Webb is going to come back in the ball game. He's at the scorer's table, and Wedman is fouled.
I think Spud Webb at this point in the ball game is very important to help get that lead. Spud Webb maybe not be the player that you keep in the last 2 minutes of the game because he is such a defensive liability. So he's got to make his impact before the 10-minute mark.
Johnny Davis goes out of the ball game. Celtics is shooting 36% for the game. The Hawks 47%. Parrish trying an inside against Willis, and he scores. Robert Parrish.
Willis just plain afraid to pick up that extra foul.
And Parrish, of course, having to play a lot more because Walton couldn't play today. Robert Parrish played 42 minutes. 45 actually in game number 3. Spud Webb missing the jumper. Willis there. And the 7-footer comes through with a follow-up. Dick Stockton and Tommy Heinsohn in sold-out Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, where the Hawks trying to hold on, leading the Boston Celtics 81-76. 4th game, best of 7 Eastern semifinal. Wedman misses, and Koncak rebounds, and the Hawks trying to stay alive, trailing 3-0 in the series. And Spud Webb, the man with the ball, has ignited the flame for Atlanta this afternoon.
They're going to try and pick and roll him back into the middle. And look at how the Celtics are trying to contain him on one side of the court to limit his passing options.
4 seconds.
They say it was an illegal defense. Scott Wedman didn't truly double team him.
That's the first illegal defense call against the Celtics, and Casey Jones, the second time, will be a technical foul. Timeout, 9 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the final period. Hawks lead the Celtics 81-76 here in Atlanta. Meanwhile, playoff drama and nervousness is building in Dallas. Rolando Blackman, the all-star guard for the Dallas Mavericks, who trail the Lakers 2-1, getting things ready. And Kurt Rambis and James Worthy in the Laker dressing room, getting ready. Will the Lakers take a 3-1 lead, or will Dallas tie it up at Reunion Arena? We'll find out later this afternoon on CBS. Meanwhile, this is the scene at McNichols Arena in Denver, Colorado, as the Houston Rockets arrive on the bus. That's Ralph Sampson going into McNichols Arena. And the same question there. Can Houston win on the road and take a 3-1 lead, or will the Denver Nuggets win at home again and even that best-of-7 series 2-2? And the Western Semifinals coming up next on CBS. Most of you will see the Lakers-Dallas matchup. Some of you will see the Rockets and the Denver Nuggets. Larry Bird has scored 14 points this afternoon. He has not shot particularly well, 4 for 16, but he can explode at any time, and he's got the great weapon of the three-pointer that can break your back.
That's just plain lousy shooting. Not particularly well, you say. It's lousy.
Wilkins. Oh, Jesus! Dominique Wilkins, 30 points in the ball game, which matches his season's average.
But he's under control the second half. Much better style of play for Dominique.
Bird. Off the mark, Parrish, the rebound. And a Hawks foul against Kevin Willis, and that'll be his 5th personal foul. We said it earlier, one of the great advantages the Hawks have with so many big men is that they can use a lot of fouls with their people.
I think they'd rather finish up with Willis, which they're going to try and guarantee here, than having Livingston play.
Ames misses. Rollins gets the rebound. So Rollins, Wilkins, and Livingston, who has the ball now, the front court for the Hawks. Livingston misses, and Bird comes down with it. 8:39 remaining in the 4th period. Danny Ames inside of Parrish. Basket good and a foul, and now Darryl Garrettson says no basket, traveling call against Robert Parrish. So a 3-point play, presumably for the Celtics, turns into a turnover here.
You watch Robert Parrish. I guess he picked up that foot before he let the ball go, but he got hammered.
83-76. Atlanta. Webb and Rivers, the backcourt. Wilkins, turnaround, foul on Wedman. Let's see who got charged with that call. Kevin McHale did. That's 3 on McHale. Parrish and Ainge are the only Celtics with 4 personal fouls. And we look at the foul story. Willis has 5 for the Hawks.
You know, with Doc Rivers and Spud Webb in the backcourt at the same time, it's much like Isaiah and Joe Dumars of Detroit. 2-point guards could create a lot more possibilities offensively for Dominique and Tree Rollins. Yeah, other big guy, Livingston.
Biggest lead of the game right now for the Atlanta Hawks. They're up by 9. Bird, McHale, basket counts and a foul. Tremendous execution by the Celtics. Bird getting it to Kevin McHale. Dennis Johnson returns to the game. First this.
You see McHale just slide beautifully. Great pass by Bird, and the elusiveness of McHale. I mean, he's turned into an acrobat. You know, the funniest thing I see watching Kevin McHale trying to start on the front end of a fast break. It's like a freight train in a roundhouse, the wheels spinning until he gets it going. I mean, he really tries to chug before he gets up to full speed.
Dennis Johnson replaces Seasting for the Celtics. Double team on Wilkins. Under 8 minutes to go, 4th period. Illegal defense against Boston, and that will be a technical foul, and the Hawks will shoot it. And it'll be Wilkins to shoot the tee.
Mike Fratello has got both his point guards, Doc Rivers and Spud Webb, over on the sideline, and either one of them can go one-on-one on that penetration move.
Wilkins, perfect from the line, 13 for 13. Has 33 points now. The Hawks have the ball. And a 7-point lead. They can match their biggest lead of the game if they can score here. Webb. Wilkins trying to get position on McHale. 10 on the shot clock. Wilkins and Dennis Johnson fouls him.
That was a first-class isolation job. They pulled everybody up to let Dominique go one-on-one against Kevin McHale.
Wilkins finds Rollins. 33 for Dominique today. Rivers has 10, Webb 17. Those are the only double-figure scores for the Hawks. The Celtics have 5 men in double figures. Missing outside is Wilkins, but Rollins keeps it going for Atlanta with a new clock. 15 rebounds for Tree Rollins today.
Well, Tree wasn't rooted down. He's been leaping up and doing a heck of a job rebound-wise and defensively.
Isolating on the 1-4 again, Webb. But Webb, 19 points.
Believe it or not, Danny Ainge did a super defensive job that time, not to go for any fakes.
Larry Bird trying to get on track. He has 14 points. Blocked. And there's McHale and Dennis Johnson. Made the initial drive, and McHale follows. He has 24 points, the leading scorer for Boston today. Webb again, 6.5 to play in the 4th period. Checking with Mike Fratello. Webb lost the ball, and it was knocked out of bounds by the Celtics.
You know, one of the things I don't like about what the Hawks do with all this speed is they take the steam away from themselves too much.
On a Sunday, but Tuesday's going to be a big day for my partner Tom Heinsohn. You remember Tom, you'll pick him out with the crew cut, number 15. He had the great hook shot, could shoot from the corner, and just a great winner. Part of 11 World Championships with the Boston Celtics. First as a player, and boy, we really speeded up that film. And the last 2 as a coach of 2 Celtic World Championship teams. He'll be inducted in the Hall of Fame along with Billy Cunningham, who you'll see later this afternoon on CBS. Red Holtzman, Red Mihalik, Fred Taylor,
hey,
Stan Watts.
Did you like that little push up the court? Didn't you think I reminded you a little bit of Spud Webb on that push up?
You remind me a lot of Spud Webb. How come we have to roll the film so fast?
Spud does not have a hook shot. I'm going to tell you that.
How come we have to make it look like you really had speed? Webb. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Spud Webb can't do it. Rebound. Comes down in the hands of Webb. Picked up the loose ball and a new clock. 6:08 remaining. The keys to the Hawk lead. They've held the Celtics to 36% from the field. Have out-rebounded Boston by 12 and have been right off the free throw line. But they missed here, and Parrish the rebound.
Oh, that's where Parrish has been playing great. Coming up with those key defensive rebounds.
Ainge into McHale and a Hawk foul. That'll put him in the penalty.
And that play by Danny Ainge right there was really a hallmark of what makes the Celtics a great team. Danny Ainge, on any other team, that guy probably would have picked up the ball and shot it. Instead, he tried to find McHale underneath, and he ended up with a good foul situation.
So McHale is shooting 2. At the conclusion of the game, by the way, Tom and I will select the Miller Lite Most Valuable Player of the game. In conjunction with the award, Miller Lite will present a check for $1,000 to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society in that player's name. Going for his 26th point, Kevin McHale. There has to be a candidate for that award. Celtics trailing with 5:50 remaining, 88-83. Atlanta has come alive with their shooting from the backcourt today. Spud Webb deserves a lot of that. Webb hits again. 21 for Spud Webb, and that's a playoff high for Spud Webb. 21 points.
Playing 2-on-2 basketball with Spud and Dominique.
McHale misses, but Parrish caps it in for the Celtics. Parrish getting down court in a hurry. Robert with 13. Off a screen, Wilkins. Try to pass it to Rollins. Off his back, and the Celtics coming back, trailing by 5. Johnson the trailer, and traveler called against Dennis.
Dominique took a bad shot up the other end, and luckily the Hawks retained possession of it. Can you see that when you got your head tilted like that? Oh, did they love it or what?
Not much.
Walton said, I came to Atlanta for this.
He hasn't played in the 2 games. Under 5 minutes remaining. Webb is shooting 10 of 18 from the field. So when you look at Atlanta's guard shooting over 50%, he's a big reason why. Here's Webb again. Not that. Harris clears.
That was a poor shot by Spud Webb.
But you know, Tommy, you bring out a very good point. Atlanta has stopped, like a freeze frame. They missed a shot, they give Boston a chance to come back, a foul before the shot. And now the Celtics not that far behind. 5 points with 4:31, and certainly not the double figures Hawk lead that you talked about.
Well, what you need to do if you're going to capitalize on speed is keep it on the other team for the entire ball game. It can't be stopping and starting. And I think that Mike Fratello has yet to learn that lesson. Of course, he's got some young players, and this is only the 2nd year he's ever dealt with fast break basketball. He's been more of a set offensive guy and defensive guy, so he's learning what you can do with speed and fast breaks like his team is.
16 points for Larry Bird. That foul was on Wilkins, his 4th, and a timeout called with 4:31 remaining. The Hawks lead the Celtics 90-87. While the Dallas Mavericks get set to try to even their series against the LA Lakers. You know, in the East, Philadelphia leads Milwaukee 2-1. Celtics have a 3-0 lead. James Worthy and Sam Perkins, college teammates at the University of North Carolina, will go against each other later today.
That's a pretty interesting matchup. I think the country is getting a good look at Sam Perkins, who I think is going to be a real fine NBA player for many years to come. And James Worthy, who's just the epitome of what a guy should be on a fast break ball club for a quick forward. Get out on the wing. He makes you run.
Some of you people will see the Houston-Denver game 4 with the Rockets leading 2-1. And taking a look at a couple of players, we'll see there Ralph Sampson, Calvin Nat perhaps.
And Hakeem Olajuwon.
Doc Rivers has replaced Spud Webb, who goes out of the ball game with 21 points. Wilkins, good feed to Rivers, basket good and a foul. Terrific play by both of them. Rivers moving without the ball, and Wilkins who found it.
Well, you know, Spud Webb is absolutely the last guy up on their bench. Sitting watching the reaction, but, you know.
Foul is on Paris. That's his 5th foul. One more, and he's out of the ball game.
Walton may end up getting in this game.
I don't think so. Bird banks it in. And the reason why I say that, Tommy, is that even if the Celtics lose, it's 3-1. You don't want to risk anything with Walton if they feel he can't play today. But who knows?
Depends on how close they are at the end.
Whitman, jump shot.
That's the guy in the last couple of minutes of a game that I would be trying to get the ball to because he's smart. He'll get the good open shot.
McHale. Loose ball. And the Hawks have it with 3:35 remaining. Wilkins goes up again. 35 points for Dominique Wilkins. 3:21 remaining. 8-point lead for the Atlanta Hawks. Bird. And here's Rivers. Celtics unbeaten in the playoffs. Swept Chicago 3 straight. Leading 3-0 in games. Have won 9 in a row from this team. Dominique inside to Rollins. And an offensive foul against Tree Rollins. And that'll be his 5th foul.
I think that was a poor call. I think he put his elbow up to shield the guy. I don't think he meant to hit him whatsoever.
A lot of time left. Played in the 2 games here in Atlanta, has a strained knee, and the word is from the Celtic bench that he is available and could play. It's KC's decision not to play him right now. And, you know, the thing is, you make another good point, and that is that if the Celtics feel they can end this and use Walton for a minute in case Parrish fouls out, I don't think he'd come in any other way. The Celtics would have at least a week to get ready for the next series.
Absolutely right, Dick. And big fact, I don't think Parrish is going to foul out, however. He's pretty smart at playing with 5. But I'm very impressed with what the Hawks have done right now. They've got it up to close to 10 points within 3 minutes. So there you got a good shot at winning this thing.
Parrish. Blocked by Livingston. And it hit the bottom of the backboard, so the Celtics will take it out on the side.
And this is where the Celtics go to their inside game, the good matchups. That was a fine defensive play by Livingston.
Haynes with a fake did not walk as the crowd thought. Parrish. And Rivers comes down with it with 2:40 to go, and the Hawks can open up their biggest lead. Wilkins spins. McHale to Bird to Dennis Johnson. And Dennis Johnson called for traveling again. .229 on the clock. The shooting story in Boston has never gotten over 40% today.
Well, they're lucky to be in this ball game. And that's what can happen against an inexperienced team. But right now, the Hawks got to play with a little intelligence. Get a good shot.
10 seconds on the clock. Celtics tighten the screws defensively here. Rivers for 3. Biggest lead of the game, and that may be a backbreaker. Haynes coming right back and misses. And here's Doc Rivers, who hit a 3-point play to Livingston. Larry Bird is fouled, but with 1:41 remaining. The lead is 13, and the Atlanta Hawks can smell finally a victory over the Boston Celtics. But they're going to have to play smart down the stretch to make sure they hold that lead.
Now Boston now, this lead up near 13 points is pretty difficult for Boston to come down and peck away. That means they have to make every single shot and play super defense within a 2-minute mark.
Now the Hawks have turned the ball over a good deal today, and they, keep in mind, an inexperienced team has to make sure they don't keep turning it over. That would be one way to let Boston get back in this game.
Well, Boston doesn't get rattled when they're down, and they'll hang in right till the very end, try and do the right thing. So the Hawks really have to take control and get a good shot every time they come up the court.
Doc Rivers. And a Celtic foul. That's their 4th team foul. It is not a shooting foul.
Dennis Johnson ran right into Cliff Livingston, letting him know that the next time you do that, I'm going to run right over you again.
Doc Rivers, who has 16 points and hit the big 3-pointer moments ago. Spud Webb with 21 off the bench. Dominique with 35 for the Hawks. 11 on the shot clock. No secret to the half-court offense for the Hawks today. It's been a 1-4 arrangement. Rivers, wild misses, missed everything. And here comes Dennis Johnson with under a minute remaining. Knocked away, and here's Dominique. Ainge is back. No basket.
Danny Ainge made the foul before Wilkins made the pass. And that's the little intelligent things that you pick up. You should, when you see a guy, you know he's going to foul like that, get rid of the ball. Here's a smart foul by Danny Ainge.
Dominique Wilkins. 36 points in the game. And 37. And it's 104 to 91. Dennis Johnson for 3, hits it. And it's a 10-point game now. Atlanta leading with 46 seconds. Full court pressure by the Celtics, and the Hawks will talk it over. Mike Fratello said this is going to be a tough hurdle. They're going to have to really dig down deep, and right now the Hawks have. And the Hawks hold on and win this game. After being down 3-0. They now go into Boston Garden on Tuesday night for a Game 5, playing a team that has won 44 and lost only 1 at home this season.
You know, I don't think that wasn't running through their minds before this game even started. They, to me, showed great pride today to coming out here and winning at home, and knowing that it's a tremendous struggle to go up and win at the Boston Garden. But they're going to take this thing right down to the bitter end and go as far as they can go. I think this team has got a lot of potential for the future if the game doesn't go past 5.
The Boston Celtics 6-0 in the playoffs, and they haven't lost this year at all to the Hawks. And that's in jeopardy. 20 on the shot clock. You look at the game clock. 10-point lead for the Atlanta team. Spud Webb in the ball game. Playoff high 21 points, 12 assists, 8 on the clock, nearly threw it away. Rivers saved it. Sam Vincent has come in the game. Here's Whitman. That'll do it. That'll do it, if there was any doubt. 16 on the clock. Vincent. Tight. And Livingston going after it. And a jump ball with 11 seconds to go in the game. Kevin McHale, who's 26 points, lead Boston today.
That's called stunned.
Larry Bird with 20 points, but a 5 for 19 shooting game.
Bird has one of those every once in a while. This was one of his worst games I've ever seen him play. All around. He just didn't connect all around.
David Thirdkill knocked it out of bounds, but all 5 Celtic starters hitting double figures once again. And the rebounding story. The Atlanta Hawks have out-rebounded the Boston Celtics 53-41 with Tree Rollins corralling 16, and that's a big part of today's story. It's over. And for the first time in 19 playoff games, the Boston Celtics have been held under 100 points. The Atlanta Hawks have won 106-94, and the Hawks stay alive. They trail now in the best-of-7 series, 3-1, and will now go to Boston for Game 5 at Boston Garden on Tuesday. And we have the second game of our CBS playoff doubleheader coming up. Dallas in Los Angeles. Right now, let's send you down to Reunion Arena and Brent Musburger. Brent, Spud Webb is our Miller Lite Most Valuable Player of the game. For Tom Heinsohn, Dick Stockton saying so long. The Atlanta Hawks 106.